Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of TFG Radio. As you can hear or see, depending on your
mode of consumption.
Your media. It's myself,
I'm not
Danny, who you just heard.
Consumption.
Hey.
John, who you just heard talking about consumption.
I got the consumption.
Hey, I was going to make
Danny.
Tom, who has consumption.
Hey man, the Mask of the Red Death is one of my favorite Edgar Allan Poe things.
Oh man, I completely.
And it's fairly apt nowadays.
It is.
I made so at Not Scary Farm. I've done Not Scary Farm every Halloween since I was like 15, and I moved to LA.
Okay, but why?
Because I love it. And it's just funny to watch people freak out. It just fills me with such joy. But anyway, one year they had a Mask of Red Death themed maze.
Oh, really?
And I literally made one of the monsters just like stop and shake their head because I was going through. I'm like, that's not accurate. That's not accurate. That's not even the same fucking story. Right? Like, you know.
That's a telltale heart. What's wrong with you?
Yeah. One of the guys like hiding like in like a plague doctor mask, like just like staring at me and just kind of like shook his head. I was like, whatever, fuck you.
That's Kafka. Come on. It's a whole other
I was really excited when I saw like Mask of Red Death. Awesome. I was like, oh, come on, guys.
Oh.
Yeah,
you could have just said Poe.
I did it when I was like in high school and stuff, but
It's been a number of years.
Man,
That's all I'm going to say.
I love watching people get stupidly afraid for no good reason. I think one of my fondest memories is watching like just like being in line for maze and hearing just this like like high-pitched scream, and this like maybe like 14-year-old girl, like maybe 80 pounds, like sprinting full sprinting for her life, and then about 2 heartbeats later, a guy dressed as the Grim Reaper just chasing after her. Right? Like, it's just like,
I feel like that is the demographic for that.
It is, but and I definitely feel older every time I go. But oh man, one time I saw this like roided out like just gym rat dude, like just sitting there blustering, and like one of the guys who like skate down on their knees and like clack and like make sparks goes right by him, and he just shrieks and like literally climbs a building.
Was it
and
Darian?
it's just like awesome. No, I mean, didn't look like Darian.
And the final introduction is Tom.
Oh, I thought you forgot me.
I
thought we were done with introductions. That's why I started on.
Yeah, that's why I started. Just riffing.
My bad.
That's fine. No, that's fine.
And I see.
I'm not complaining. I'm just letting people know Tom is actually here, which
They
I
can
think is
see
the
him.
first time.
Oh, I guess the podcast people can't see him.
Yeah.
Well, they've heard me a little bit by now.
That's true. You did say a few words.
They assume it's you because you haven't been here like the whole
Tom,
year.
give us a few words from our sponsors.
Thanks, Jimmy. But you have heard of me.
So if you've been keeping tabs, especially on the Facebook page, we had our Battle for LA tournament.
I thought we agreed not to talk about this.
Both Tom and John attended. I was running it.
I thought we agreed
briefly visited.
not to discuss this.
Danny helped set up and came by with his boy.
I don't recognize anything happening right now.
Pushed some models around.
Yeah, my son was very excited and was very happy.
That's good.
It worked out well.
It was mostly lunch. Like I think his favorite part was lunch.
That's everyone's favorite part.
Yeah. Well, it was just him. I also love that, like, I'm sitting there and, thankfully Jeff, again, my kid and Jeff's kid are friends. So my son knows him really well. But, was hanging out at lunch. So I had someone to help distract him. And my favorite part was just me ordering some old fashions and my son just taking out the oranges soaked in whiskey and being like, these are great. And I'm like, keep eating. It's fine.
Jesus.
That's
it's
amazing.
I may have to edit that part out.
I'm joking.
He was joking.
Some Irish.
That's not real.
No,
That's
joking.
totally.
Come
that's
on,
totally
people.
part of
Understand
culture.
satire for once in your lives and don't try to
I know,
cancel
right?
Danny.
Satire is dead. We've discussed that before.
Yeah, right.
Hey, comedy is dead. Are you? The hell is satire?
No, there's plenty of good comedy around.
Yeah, but everybody tries to cancel them on Twitter every 25 seconds.
Yeah.
That's the nature of comedy right now.
That's why the good comedy ain't on Twitter.
Dude,
You gotta go to 8chan, right?
Thing ever invented. I maintain that Twitter is a net negative for humanity along with the rest of the internet.
Yeah.
You know that it was originally designed to be an inter-office communication tool.
I'm not surprised because I can totally
What,
see
like Slack?
that being the worst inter-office communication tool ever.
Basically, Slack basically was the same thing, except they actually had dedicated rooms and voice chat. But they've added voice chat later, I think. But yeah.
Pocono Pizza is the only people who say comedies that aren't funny. How dare you?
I wouldn't
accurate.
disagree.
That's the only funny person on this
comedy.
entire podcast. I disagree with.
Are you okay?
Oh, wow.
What?
Wow.
Okay, that's
Wow,
my whole
shots fired.
job. Your job is to make sure this thing runs. My job is to be funny once every 10 jokes. Okay, and even that's pushing it.
Having the battle of the two most unfunny people on the show.
Funny thing, they're both white.
It's fitting.
I wasn't going to say it, but thanks.
It's fitting that we fight over. Never mind. I'm not gonna say it.
Do it. Release your anger.
No,
No.
I also
Speaking
skipped on a
of-
joke on how you pronounce that guy's name too.
Oh,
Which
yeah.
guy?
I'm
Feige.
well behaved tonight, guys. It's fine.
All right. Anyway, Battle for LA.
So, Battle for
I
LA.
don't want to talk about this.
Tom, what did you take?
So I took Ultramarines. I had just a quick run through Gilliman, Chaplain, Master of Forge, Apothecary, 2 Victrix Guard units, a 6-man unit of Blade Guard, 2 Assault Squads, an Infiltrator Squad, and 2 Relic Contemptors with las cannons and missile launchers. And I had an assortment of relics. Gilliman's obviously the Warlord. And the whole point was take
I'm
the
gonna let you
center,
finish, but I'm gonna stop you right here.
take the center and run. But I'm finished.
Why do those dreads still have las cannons and not Volkites?
Yeah, I don't hear the word Volkite in that army list.
So I'll get to it.
Okay.
What's
go
your
on.
list, man?
I haven't found a 3D printer for them yet. Moving on.
Yeah. It's called supply and demand and access. No, I took them because I needed something I wanted something that can do just huge damage punch if it got through. I didn't, at first when thinking about the Volkites, I didn't want to rely on hitting 6s
Sure.
and not having an AP and then having to deal with things that still had a good armor save anyway because it doesn't have any AP past turn 1. So I was like, I don't know. I want something that can reasonably just dish out a ton of pain and sit back and just shoot. And they did their job. My contemptors were great all game. Shut up. They were great. They were great almost every game. They only really failed me one turn of one game that I don't even remember which game it was. I just have that feeling that happened. But other than that, I think they performed pretty consistently.
Nice. Okay.
John, what did you bring?
I brought knights. I brought a Megara, a Castellan, 3 Armigers, a Helverin, and 2 Morax, one with Volkite and one with Lasvox.
Okay.
I should have brought more Moraxes, but I did not own them at the time. But I do have them sitting over there in baggies ready to be built.
So we had 52 players signed up, 46 showed up for the event. So
That's
it was
not
a
bad
good turnout,
attrition.
especially for the first.
That's terrible. Those people need to show up,
Right.
not be lying liars who tell lies.
Do you know
Do you know their
it's a
names?
pretty good
Name and
turnout.
shame.
I know most of them, I think. Not off the top of my head. Speaking of shame, John, how was your first? We'll go over the first day. We'll do quick recaps.
I'm sorry.
John, you want
are
to
you talking to
recap?
me?
Yeah, what's your quick recap for your first day? Day one.
I lost all my games.
What'd you play against?
First round, I played against Perry and his Harlequins.
That's a tough first round.
go first
You
or
know
second?
what? It'd have been fine if the Castellan had done more than kill 2 bikes out of 5 with all of its shooting. So it was good. It was a good game. It was actually, I was in it until about turn 4.
No, that's not bad.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with that. Game 2 was against the one of the 2 custom stopper lists,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
and I went second.
And-
so
So
there you
yeah,
go.
you were never going to win that unless his dice decided to severely fuck him.
Well, if I went first, I could kill it between the Megara with the
Oh, yeah, no.
shooting, no problem. If everything was up,
That's definitely
House
who
Ravenstrat
goes
and
first.
everything, I could do it. But I mean, going second, there was no chance. He erased the Castellan and took a ton of wounds off the Megara on turn 1. Like, what is life at that point, right?
How do we dice?
Yeah. Round 3. Who did I play round 3?
Was it that bad?
No, it was.
I can look.
No, it was a good game. It was
You played against.
Sisters of Battle. I played against Sisters of Battle. Again, it was a game that was down to the wire. Like, at the end of the game, I had 2 knights left, and he had practically nothing left, except for a couple units he managed to hide inside structures.
Mm-hmm.
But I just couldn't keep. You know what? The problem is the list doesn't have OBSEC. If my little knights could have OBSEC, I would have definitely won the game against Sisters of Battle. I probably would have won the game against the Orcs too, because he never really left his zone. But he was able to get enough onto the objectives that were in the middle that I couldn't contest. So if Little Knights counted as like 5 or 10 OBSEC, I'd be fine. Totally fine.
Mm-hmm.
So the Sisters game, that was fine. Without OBSEC, I'm not scoring enough primaries because smart players against the Knights just sit there OBSEC stuff, one toe onto every objective that I'm near, which is easy to do. It's easy to do. Second day, game 5 or 4 was against Ishmael, who's the local, who's also in the chat. We let my son Edwin roll pretty much everything for that game, which was cool. I figured if I'm playing Ishmael, it would be fine if I brought Edwin along for the first round because he's 10 and he's learning. So we just explained things. Ish was great about explaining stuff to Edwin too.
Oh, good.
Which is
That's
cool.
great.
Because, teacher dad wasn't always in teacher mode, so that was good for him. To have somebody who's not dad do it.
Right.
I watched
Dad,
that
why
game.
are you crying salt?
Again, I went second, and if I had gone first, I could have killed some of his Telemons, but instead his Telemons destroyed me, so that's that. There's only so much you can do when...
God hates you.
No, the list really needs to go first, which is just a flaw in the list. It's fine. It's not a big deal. Last round I did win. Last round I played another Custodes player. That list only had 1 Telemon, not 2. It was not as tooled, so that one I did win. I won it pretty handily, so that was fun. But
okay,
that was my weekend.
1 and 4.
1 and 4. Which
Did you feel like though you had more control over your destiny in each game than you did with the Space Wolves at the RTT?
I definitely felt more comfortable with the list. I have 0 confidence in the Space Wolves, so I'm going to go back and try playing them again for a game or 2. I have some ideas from Jeff from Focus Fire that I've only used twice, and I need to actually sit down and play a couple of games with them rather than just play the 2 that I played.
Right.
And I think now that I have a better handle of all the secondaries and stuff in general,
until chapter approved, then we got to start over,
which is fine. That I think that I need to go back and give them a chance again. I think that there's a couple of versions of the list which would be good. I definitely need to get the jump pack guys built. Not rely on giant blobs of Terminators. Maybe 2 small squads of 5. Mm-hmm. Some small jump pack squads to go take stuff, deploy scramblers, and then the Volkite Contemptor Dreads. I think I'm going to drop the Redemptors. The Redemptors don't... They die so easily. They have no special buffs like the Contemptors and the Leviathans do. There's no invul save. There's no -1 to damage.
They don't have -1 damage? They don't have duty of general?
Redemptors, no.
Whoa.
No, only Leviathans and the Contemptors. So, I don't... Everybody loves Redemptors so much. I'm like, why? They die like little bitches so easily.
That's because you're playing Space Wolves.
So what one...
You play them as Ultramarines.
Or Iron Hands.
There's an Ultramarines list that uses Redemptors and Contemptors.
Okay, but
that one a GT.
Then I'd be playing as Ultramarines, and that's ridiculous.
Okay, well that's a you problem.
Hey, yours are Alpha Legion. Shut up.
So, anything else regarding your weekend, John?
It was fun. It was great. It was awesome playing in the GT and seeing everybody again and going out drinking on Saturday night with everybody. It was a good time.
Yes,
it was great. I have no regrets.
I made that part too.
I'm totally fine losing 4 games. Whatever. I don't care at this point. I'm actually getting to play Warhammer in person. What do I care if I lose all my games?
This is the correct attitude.
Is the right answer. What was I going to say?
I'll win games again eventually in 10th edition. It's fine.
Tom, how'd your weekend go?
So I ultimately ended up going 2 and 3. So still having a hard time. get that 3-2 barrier. I'm not even sure I think if I have, I've only done it once, but I'm not sure. But
3-2.
I've never gotten.
You've done 3-2 at BAO like twice.
Yeah, in SoCal you were 4-2.
In SoCal you were 4-2.
Oh yeah, man, I've been really down on myself lately. Jeez.
You don't remember that one because of the rage of the airport hangar.
That's true.
It's too
that
much
did
whiskey,
kill a lot
Tom.
of
All that Irish whiskey is giving you downers.
That's true.
You gotta store some Coke and get some uppers.
Yeah, that's true. I have
speedball in.
Is that an upper? I don't even know. Is that an upper?
That is an upper.
Okay, cool.
Good save. Feigning ignorance.
I don't sniffle enough. I don't have to feign ignorance. You can tell by the way people sniffle what they did in their youth.
Yeah.
I had a teacher in high school.
Why are you constantly biting your fingernails? Don't ask.
I have a teacher in high school who you could tell that dude snorted a lot of coke when he was younger. He's constantly blowing his nose. Like, he always nose issues with that dude. He full on admitted it to us halfway through junior year.
Yeah, I did a lot of cocaine. So game 1, I played against White Scars. That was a pretty tight match. It was a good game. The guy was really cool, because I misread the mission secondary, and he's like, wait, did you mean this one? Cause you said that one. Based on what you're saying, it does. And I was like, oh my god, yes. And he's like, you can change it. And I was like, that's cool, man. Thank you. He was a really cool guy. Good game. I even was like, dude, I'll take the loss. It's fine. He's like, no, it's cool. I gave him some stuff back in return too, made sure it was equitable. But it was close. I ended up pulling out that one. But then, what was it? Round 2, who did I play? I played against Ray, or my white whale, who I've played 3 or 4 times now, and I still haven't beaten him. I've gotten so close every time. Ray.
Ray.
That little bastard. But that was a good game. I actually made him sweat this time, which was a good feeling. I think I lost.
I've never beaten Ray, and I don't think he's ever broken a sweat playing me either.
I ended up losing though because I misplayed Gilman. I ran Gilman into the wings when I should have had him stay in the center.
Yeah.
And he was able to take me apart.
Ray and I talked about that.
Oh, I'm sure he did, yeah. But it was a close game though. It was 69-63. So I was like,
no, it's close.
Yeah, it was pretty nail bitery. My game 3 was against a guy on our team, Dom. So I played Dom and his Blood Angels.
Blood Angels, yes.
Absolutely gorgeous painted Blood Angels. And
I don't know. It's not like they won Best Painted or anything, did they?
Wow.
Okay,
ignoring that.
Dom knows I'm joking. I can't paint anywhere near as well as that guy.
No.
Ridiculous. Those paint skills are off the charts.
They're amazing. I know. And I knew you were joking. No, but he was funny because he was like, bro, I gotta be honest, man, my dice have been just taking shit all day. And I'm like, man, I get you. And like, literally, I saw some of the worst dice luck I've ever seen against him. And like, things just totally not go his way. Like, at a point where I already knew I was gonna lose. And here, actually, the problem was just because I lost because I kept Gilman in the center, which was kind of hilarious. I was like, I'm not gonna make that mistake again. I'm gonna make a different mistake for the same reason.
I feel like you're not adaptable enough.
I know, right? Which is hilarious considering I'm playing Ultramarines that are disguised as Alpha Marines. It really says something about my aspirations and my lacks, right?
Well, it's in character. It's in character for Ultramarines since he won't change from the.
That's true.
Yeah, they got to send you into the Eye of Terror on an impossible mission.
Yeah.
But sir, the comic does not support this action. But there was one hilarious moment where I knew I was going to lose, so I was like, okay, I got to pull out all stops, make bigger go home decisions because I'm going to lose this. I was like actually paying much more attention to the points game. And, it's still kind of questionable what's going to happen in the center, but he sends his Imperium Sword, 4-up Invul, Assault Primaris Killer of a Blood Angel captain with jump pack at my 5 Eradicators who had come in and cleared off an objective. And I had 1 CP left. I was like, I'm not going to spend this on a reroll. Whatevs. I'm just going to go. And I overwatch him. I hit him 4 out of 5 shots, and 3 out of the 4 shots went through. So I automatically did 6 damage to him just because he was within half range.
Nice.
And he's just like, and he's looking at me and he's just like his jaw just hits the floor. I mean, he still won. Like he still took it home pretty cleanly. Like he beat me 82-61. But like for him, he was just focused on like what's happening in the game. He's like, dude, like this is what I'm talking about. And I was like, bro, I'm so sorry, but that was hilarious.
Hey Adam, you gotta hit record again.
No, I don't.
It still says recording on my side.
Yeah, but the numbers aren't moving.
Oh.
No, it's supposed to still record. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Okie doke.
Whatever you say, boss.
Yeah.
I'm
Whatever you say, pal.
I'm gonna soundbite that little quip.
You can soundbite it. There was dripping with sarcasm. It's fine.
That's fine. I'll use it as intended.
Uh-huh.
My game 4.
5, 4.
This is my game 4. I played against a little thing I like to call. Where did it go? Where am I? Yeah, I played against Deathwing Terminators. And that was the game. That was the game that made me. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and Azrael. So they're 5 up invul, went to a 4 up invul, and Gilliman by himself was able to, out of a squad of 5, 1 died to mass amounts of shots, and then Gilliman murdered the other 4. But then the other Death Angel Wing Terminators, because he brought 2 squads of 20 and combat squatted them.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I think it was 3 squads of 10.
It's 10. Max is 10.
It's 3 squads of 10.
He brought 3 squads of 10 and combat squatted them. And the problem is that actually makes them really hard to score against because he picks while we stand, we fight, and you have to kill both combat squads in order to do that.
Yeah.
And that's such a good secondary for Darth. And then he's got permanent transhuman.
Yep.
Which basically makes my dreads pointless. And that was the game where I was like, you know,
Volkite would help.
Yeah, Volkite would help with that easy.
Maybe I should have listened to Adam and John and everybody else on the internet.
I was like, maybe Volkites are good. And I was like, I remember like him being like, I'm going to move over here. And I'm looking up the Volkite rules. Like, yeah, cool. Go for it, man. Like, I already knew what else. I was like, yeah, sure. Just like checking how they worked again. He was a really cool guy. It was really, really great game, great sportsman. I totally got my ass kicked. But he beat me that round. And then game 5, I played against, what was he? Oh yeah, he was using, Astra Militarum in a single knight. Mm-hmm. And, I was lucky because I got to go first and I just murdered the knight. I just absolutely murdered it. Yeah. But I made a mistake because since the knight's huge, I can sit behind obscuring cover and still shoot at it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And instead I put them forward a little more.
No.
That was my mistake. That was my mistake. Although, actually, the Death Strike doesn't need line of sight, and neither does the actually. Oh, but the tank. So yeah, that's never mind. But so I murdered that, and then he rolls out his tank commanders, and with all, I think he had 3 tank commanders. He just straight up frickin' murders, I think, 1 dreadnought instantly, or with 2 of them at least. And the third one, he brings it down to like literally 1 wound. Yeah. That guy with 1 wound finishes off 1 of them, including a whole bunch of shooting that I did from somewhere else. So I got lucky there. I was able to hit my dice. And then his turn, he kills the last Contemptor. And if I had actually kept my Contemptors alive better, I would have cleaned up that game much faster. And so, like, I just was like, all right, mental note, don't, like, if you're shooting at knights, you don't have to break cover. Like,
he was the guy I played last RTT, where Eradicators came on the board within double tap range of his knight and failed to do anything really to it at all because Eradicators suck.
My Eradicators actually didn't shit the bed this game around this round. Like,
Stop
they had 1 bad round.
My narrative, Tom.
No, but they normally shit the bed, so I was surprised. Anywho, that game was close. I was able, basically it became Ultramarines versus Guard at that point once I took out his Knights. The only thing this Knight and his tank commanders. And I got really lucky because the one piece of terrain that his commander was hiding against was an obscuring piece of ruins that Gilliman could fit through. using an aperture. So I was able to go straight through there.
Wait, Gilman was using a camera?
No, he was, no, not. I hate you. You know what an aperture means.
I do. When the aperture is part of the exposure, right?
Through an opening. And so I was able to charge Gilliman in there without having to worry about without having to worry about Overwatch, because he would have done gunners and this and that, and then the Blade Guard came in, and then the Victrix Guard came in, and they just cleaned up the 2 tanks. And then they basically was sitting on his home objective, and his guardsman couldn't do anything. He tried to use his Death Strike against the remaining Blade Guard, but nothing in it. He wasn't able to do anything. And then I had an Assault Marine squad that had like 4 guys left, charge and tie up the Wyvern and the Death Strike, and that was it. It was game over.
Yeah. That works.
It was a close game. I mean, he made me work for it for sure. And we talked about it after. He's like, yeah, I don't know about this knight. And I'm like, dude, how much is that knight compared to everything else in your army? Just get tons more artillery, dude. Get 3 basilisks. Easy. I wouldn't have been able to even get anywhere close.
How dare you tell people not to take knights?
No, not take mono knight. Never take mono knight. Win.
Brandon Grant won the LVO and the ITC with a mono knight in his list.
That was an edition ago. Stop living in the past, John.
No. Can't stop, won't stop.
What happened before the plague is inconsequential these days. There's only the plague.
What happened before plague times?
Mm-hmm.
So in regards to the tournament as a whole, it went fairly well. The pairings were fine. We only had, I believe it was 2 or 3 drops overall, and it didn't really affect the pairings because they were all towards the bottom, so we didn't have to or either that or they were close to each other in terms of their placings.
Yeah, I think the big one was round 5 when I got no.
Yeah, it was round 5
and 4. Oh, in the morning 4 because
4. It was 4 because
I ended up playing Ishmael because we had to figure out who I was playing because my opponent dropped.
Yeah, and one person didn't tell us they were dropping; they just didn't show up.
Well, they did show up, but they didn't play.
No, that was somebody else.
Oh, was that somebody? Okay. All right. 2 people told us they were dropping on Saturday. Then one person didn't show up. So, so it all evened out in the end. I think we had 4 Drukhari players, but all of them were like 4-1 or at best. Yeah, I think the top one came in, I think, like 4th or 5th. And then Brandon Grant won the tournament with his Sisters of Battle. After that first weekend dominance, Drukhari have not been doing as well.
I know a lot of the top players switched from Drukhari to something else. Yeah. Like the Ultramarines list.
You mean they all magically switched to AdMech somehow right before the new codex came out?
I just told you they switched to Ultramarines.
I'm not listening to that because that's not part of my narrative.
We've established this.
We've established that post-2016 is a post-facts world, and I get to make up whatever I want on this podcast, which I do regularly.
John's been watching a lot of Fox News recently, okay? It's really been affecting him.
Look, I'm starting Turning Point Imperium. You can all suck it.
But overall, it was pretty good.
Color to be Turning Point Imperium, right?
There we go.
I got the right haircut too, I think.
You do actually.
Yeah.
All you need is a scar and a sigil of the Inquisition on yourself, and you'll be like ready to roll.
My face needs to be smashed way together like that, dude.
Oh
God.
Look, he's got smash face. I don't care what anybody says. It's not
disagreeing with you.
I'm just saying the truth. I'm just saying the truth.
New sentences. That guy's got smash face.
Hey, it could be worse to get a punch me face. You know what? He does have both, actually. Think about it. He's got the worst of 2 worlds. He's got punch me face and smash me face.
Or the best, depending on your perspective.
Or your best.
I don't know. I feel like in general to be like an internet or like an internet persona, like you have to have a punchable face.
True.
Like it's just that's part of the hate, right? Like to get everybody on.
I have a personality page. What are you saying?
Nothing. Moving on.
Remind me not to stand too close to Danny at LVO again.
All I would say is just keep your arms up.
I'm just gonna stay arm's distance away.
Oh, he'll catch you without you paying attention. Like that red carpet meme with Jason Momoa.
Oh,
That's the best.
it is.
I love
Although
that meme. That's a great meme.
the follow up picture is far more wholesome though, because then the follow up what happened is just them hugging
Yes.
and like smiling big at each other.
Yeah, your follow picture won't be that though. That's what we're saying.
No,
that's what I'm
the
saying.
floor, right? Bleeding from the face.
Yes. It'll be the Muhammad Ali standing over.
Is it weird that I'm oddly okay with this?
That's an iconic picture. I don't know. Like,
Yeah,
It's history right
I
there.
don't know about that. It's yeah.
Okay.
if I wanted to punch John, I would have punched him a long time ago. Probably in that corn demon game or whatever.
Kara Quinn, I'm not short, and neither is Tom.
No, they're not.
Which one's Kara Quinn? Do we know him?
I don't know, but he's saying we're all short, so you got to punch down. We're not short, dude. I mean, I'm not massive.
It depends on your
It's not.
I know.
Well,
I wouldn't
it's not
describe
that
Danny
from.
as short either.
So Kara Quinn,
He said short
you know that
compared to him. So,
you know that when
Oh.
you see us in camera, the reason our perspective looks like this is because we're sitting in chairs.
I can raise my chair up so I can seem taller, I guess.
I mean, I guess I could stop slouching a little bit. But
there. Now, see, look,
That's permanent.
look, I'm tall. See, this worked out because I actually switched to us on the view with our faces.
Oh, maybe that's why I say
No,
that.
no, I was just trying to keep the our meme alive of making the joke of like, oh yeah, no, John's actually 6'8", but then people actually have met him in real life and they're like, oh, never mind.
Dude, I don't know if I'd want to actually be that tall.
No, it seems really annoying.
That seems very
Well,
inconvenient.
Your life
Yeah.
expectancy goes down too, I think, because your heart has a harder time pumping blood all that direction.
Yeah.
I think I've read something like that.
Hollywood Squares upper right, that's Tom. Fun fact, I was on
that's
Hollywood
Tom.
Squares.
Yes, we all know.
Ah, God.
Yes.
When you were a child actor.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was in the X-Files movie too, Tom.
Oh, it's that time
I
now?
know.
Okay. I was
I
just
know.
double checking.
Well, I mean,
on
I
schedule.
just like to
apparently.
remind Tom of all the things he can't find me in. Because he wants to embarrass me on the internet, but he can't do it.
I haven't really tried that hard, but
Actually, the X-Files one is easy. You can see me, but it's not anything big.
Yeah.
The Hollywood
No, I
Squares
know.
one would be super embarrassing because they dressed me, and
Oh,
I had
no.
to talk differently because of the mic, and I sound weird. But I won.
I mean, if your voice
so-
was cracking
kind of
during that
worth it.
episode, you can just say your voice was cracking during that
No, it
episode.
wasn't it wasn't cracking. It just sounded funny. I mean, I was like 15, so.
I'm just gonna forever envision it that you sounded like Ralph Wiggum.
I sound weird now. That's not funny.
No,
That
not
sounds
now.
great. No, Pocono
No,
Pizza.
no,
then.
no.
He says you sound weird
Oh.
now. It's
Oh,
Rag on John Night in the chat. You should get in there, Tom.
They know, Tom.
No, it
No,
should be in the chat.
because I don't want to remind you guys it's actually the year of Tom, and if I overstep my bounds,
If I overstep my bounds.
All right, I'm gonna switch back to the
Backlash.
memes in a minute. So why don't you guys show what you're working on? Because it looks like some of you are working on stuff.
oh,
I am working on 16 T-34s.
Wait, is Danny working on
really good,
dinosaurs?
Danny.
What's going on?
Hell yeah. Styrofoam.
dinosaurs,
That's all.
dinosaurs,
That's
run
not
this up.
Archeon.
No.
that's not Archeon.
I keep telling you could make an Archeon army with Archeon, Be'lakor, 2 Varangard, and then 5 Chaos Knights.
I know.
And there you go.
We'll
I'm in the
maybe
middle.
one day.
I'm in the middle of building 16 T-34s
You were an embarrassment.
for Flames of War.
Just an embarrassment.
Sir, this is a Christian podcast.
This is a Christian
How
server.
dare you play the commies?
I am working on White Scars, so I'm almost finished with the bikes.
Better be.
Which is why I'm not.
Could you
Making fun of
imagine
Tom
what
right
would
now.
have happened right now, Tom, if you were not working on the one?
Oh, I know.
I can imagine
Oh, I know.
seeing like Danny reaching over to the top corner to choke out Tom.
Yeah, like, "Wah!" but like yeah, like
He's actually in the other room. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
And then this is one of the almost completed White Scar Blade Guard that I did.
Nice.
Well,
I just have to
good,
do it.
Eventually. When
Yeah.
I get them, and we
Oh,
can
yeah,
use
we'll
them
do
for
a battle
battle
with them.
reports.
Oh yeah. Basically, I'm saving certain details for last. Like I'm gonna do all the purity seals at once. I'm gonna do all the faces at once. When you're doing this many
I thought
stuff,
I
it's
was
just
doing
like
the faces.
you're doing the
Just
eyes. 'cause
on
I can't do that.
Casero.
You're dotting the
Oh,
eyes.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can touch up the faces if you want. I mean, I honestly, my face game's weak, so you know.
This is why I paint
My face game
dinosaurs.
is strong.
I don't have to do that.
Yeah, tanks don't have faces, I don't think.
That's why my entire Alpha Legion, for the most part, is helmeted.
There's some good questions in the chat we should answer real quick.
Okay. Anything for the people.
We'll read the questions, Sean.
Yeah, I don't have chat
This
open.
is not my job, Adam.
Hold on, there was
I
one.
pressed
Okay,
play.
so KR Quinn is asking, as judges, so not Tom.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hang on. Pocono Pete, I was not in rehab.
What about one of these things are not like the other? What about this? What about basically the ACO FAQ, the Atlantic City Open?
Well, so
which
the
I'll be at.
ACO FAQ was just kind of like a
It's a
copy
stopgap.
paste of the WTC one. It's a stopgap.
Yeah.
It's not going to be
Yeah.
any type. It's not some type of official FLG sponsored event of FAQ. It is what it is.
Yeah, because he's saying some contentious stuff in there and some that matter that makes no sense unless you're WTC.
Are you going to need to worry about that being the FAQ for LVO this year? No.
No. Jesus.
We'll probably do what we've always done for LVO, which is ask us some questions, we'll give you some answers, and we'll publish the answers.
Yep.
And you freaking deal.
Mm-hmm.
And anything else?
Well, that's also
you didn't ask. You show up day of, and your whole army sucks because you used an edge case and you got screwed. Too bad.
Yeah, I mean, that's honestly the best way to do it anyway, just because with the kind of rapid fire releases and FAQs and things like that, if you create like here's my, kind of working copy FAQ that I, build upon and yada yada, it's like you have to do so much updating and things fall through the cracks and like, you just really open yourself up. So just having the like, okay, we're a month out, start sending us in your questions like that, you need us to rule on, we'll answer them and update, and just have a doc open.
Caveat though, we'll answer the ones that are legitimate.
Yes.
If you ask me if drop pods can come in turn 1, I'm not going to answer your stupid fucking question.
I will just be a meme though.
You're basically saying you're not going to enable people's not learning how to read.
Yeah, and any question from Michael Snyder, I'm not going to answer either.
But aren't you a teacher? Curious.
I'm under no obligation to answer any Michael Snyder questions.
He plays Legion. He's not coming.
Yeah.
We don't have to
This
care.
is true.
Play Star Wars.
Stars.
Another question is, what are your thoughts on all these super majors popping up? The feels borderline pointless to even play in RTTs now. So, for those that don't know, GW announced basically 3 what will probably be super majors because I think the cap is 256 for them.
Mm-hmm.
Good grief.
They're pretty big.
And then there's also the frontline majors,
Which are, just
which are
springing
bigger.
up out of nowhere.
Where there's
Yeah.
6,
Which-
5, 4, 12.
Are we counting the team event? The first
team
one is
event,
Atlantic City. There's Atlantic City. There's the Lone Star Open. There's the team tournament, SoCal Open, the New Orleans one that's already 5.
And
LVO.
LVO that's 6 in the next like 6 months. Literally.
LVO's the Uber Super Major.
Right,
LVO is just LVO.
but even then, there's a lot of local because there are some complaints about GW doing their events around the same time as other events.
Isn't it overlapping with Flying Monkey? One of them?
There's a few like within a week or the same weekend as a number of different events.
But also some of those other events only pull from that area. And in
Right.
reality,
Yes.
They're regional as opposed to, national or
the
international.
GW ones are going to be mostly regional too. Like the majority
Yes.
of players at any of these events is going to be regional. The only exception I've ever seen to that is LVO.
Mm-hmm.
And
In terms of percentage,
Nova used to be
Nova,
had
yes,
the same
Nova.
poll.
That's
Yeah.
true. So Nova and LVO had
and-
a national international pool, right? I don't care that these events are run by GW. They're not going to automatically their first year necessarily have the same type of international pool. Maybe, sure, but it's not guaranteed. They could still end up being, 50 to 75% locals, depending on who buys tickets and when, too.
Yeah. So that's why the big 3 are the big 3, the Adepticon, Nova, and LVO, because they pulled from the world essentially, as opposed to pulling from the local. Like our GT was basically a local GT.
Regional.
I mean, a regional. We pulled from Nevada and Arizona and San Diego area, but And the middle of California. I don't think we got anybody from Northern California.
Did we get somebody from Idaho?
No.
No.
No?
No.
Okay. I thought
They
we did.
joked about coming, but they didn't.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
hurtful.
so, and we don't normally get people from Northern California to our events historically, so that wasn't anything, but we pull from who we normally pull from.
Historically, Southern California doesn't want anybody from Northern California coming in anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah, they're
And
just a
vice
bunch,
versa.
they're just a bunch of techno barbarians.
It also depends on whose definition you're counting as Northern and Southern California.
I mean,
That
correct one and
that
the
line
wrong one.
varies. So,
I mean,
So
some
in-
people
in
in the chat
terms-
are making the point about like having to redo the points and stuff, and like it doesn't have to wait till next season. You never know; they could change how the points work whenever
Yeah.
they want.
but in terms of going to RTTs, which was the original question,
Yeah.
you should still go because the RTTs are how you basically
Prep.
learn your list.
And build
Yeah.
a community.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Like, I mean, even more important than like testing a list. I mean, I think is a great part of RTTs because they're so low stakes. You can really, in a competitive environment, really test weird things. But really RTTs are about building your local community, right? It's making sure that you have people to play in leagues or on game night or whatever, right? It's about creating a sense of community. So I think those are always going to be really valuable, especially more so than 2-day events, just because, there's actually a decent population of tournament players who don't really do 2-day events because they can't, right? Their life does not allow them to spend
Right.
2 days straight, playing when, a RTT, once a month, 1 day, like that's more manageable for them. So again, I think RTTs are really central for keeping a strong core of your player base in your area.
Yeah. Somebody else says apparently you're going to have to want to go to multiple super majors in order to compete. Look, if you want to win,
That's always been that way.
If you want to win the ITC, you have to go to multiple super majors already. Like that's just the way it's been for years. I mean,
Like you
That's
weren't
not
going to
an
just
issue.
go to RTTs and GTs to win.
Yeah, you needed to win like 1 or 2 majors plus LVO for the last like 2 legit seasons. Like obviously not last season, that's Asterisk season. But like 2019, 2018, you needed to win 2 of the big ones and LVO in order to win. Like that's just been the reality for a while.
Yeah, I mean, that's always how the points are broken down, just because, like, when you look at, like, the top 20, the top 30, like, once the season shakes out, when we're, like, approaching LVO, almost everyone in the top 50 has 6 scores that are from GT or majors, right? They're not counting any of their RTT scores. And it's just because, like, to get into, like, the 1,000, 1,200 point range, you absolutely need to do that. So
Yeah.
it's always been, if you really want to win the ITC, you need to travel. If you want to win best in faction, depending on what faction it is, then maybe it's not, you can do regional stuff and maybe pull it out if you're actually.
It really depends on the faction,
Yeah.
And I feel like that's probably even going to change too with how everything's kind of shaken out now. Like, you're not going to be able to just like sneak by and like, oh, well, nobody really plays this, considering like things have, the rising tide has kind of risen all of the codexes up to a level.
I mean, yeah,
I don't
because
know.
eventually some of those outliers need to get weeded out. Like, what the hell is Agents of the Imperium as a faction? Like, is that really a faction?
Hey.
Come on.
That's the only Imperium army I have right now. All my white scars are done. Somebody.
Can you
Dobby
play a
is
list
working.
that's only planes?
Dobby
I
is
thought you couldn't do that.
I'll come up with something.
I thought you were Salty John, not rub salt in wounds John.
That's part of it.
Hey man,
Oh.
I'm an equal opportunity salt spender and user.
It's true. I appreciate that.
I'm the
Consistency.
Mansa Musa of this podcast,
Oh my God.
just without the wealth, but all the salt.
Much salt as I can give you.
I hope people get that reference, otherwise I'd be disappointed in you.
Some of us. Hey, no, our readers are, again, educated, urbane individuals, so I would absolutely anticipate them. Almost all of them would get the reference, and how dare you suggest otherwise?
I mean, I have good reasons for suggesting otherwise that I'm not going to go into on the podcast out loud.
Well, except the people we know personally. I mean, just the general listener we really don't know.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Just to clarify, by listener you mean listener, not co-host, right?
Tom over there not knowing who Mansa Musa is.
Well, lately you've been far more of a listener than a co-host, so I don't know.
That's true.
Wow.
No, that's completely true. I blame my son.
Welcome to my world.
All right, which one of these stupid show notes are we on?
We're going to talk about Hammer Wrath really quick. It's still scheduled for the end of August. We are still looking at the venue. Worst case scenario will be at the store. Best case, it might be at, either a hotel at LAX, past the convention center still in play. We're just waiting for word on pricing. And we may have to do a room block if we do the, LAX one.
Okay.
But
LAX is actually closer to me. That would be fun.
I'm hoping we can get an answer within the next week. At the latest by next episode, because we are about 3 months out at this point. So I want to get that.
Yeah, we need to. Yeah,
we need to get the lockdown as soon as possible. And in regards to the California State Championship, that's still going on. Hammer Wrath is going to be basically the final event for the championship. Currently, Jason McKenzie, who won Best Painted with his purple AdMech, and from what we're seeing, his army is just going to get better.
Is it purple and gold? Does he have Laker AdMech?
Yes, basically.
Yes.
Not intentionally, but I thought it was silver. It's mostly purple silver, but there's some gold in there.
It's weird because he calls it like Dark Mechanicum because he has a lot of
themes. To ruin every narrative I have tonight.
Because it's Tom.
It's Tom.
It's because it's our curse of a show of either you and I are we're vibing and jiving, or you're just hating me, and it's one of the two. It's never.
Isn't that with everybody?
My relationships? Well,
yes.
I mean
with us anyway.
Yeah, I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take that to the journal tonight. Let me tell you.
When I go into my hope chest.
Dear vlog, Adam said it today. It was out loud. We all know now.
It was out loud.
Dear vlog. Good lord, 2004 wants this reference back.
See, I feel like he has a weird private, or not private, but just unknown YouTube channel, right? Like some celebrities do, where he just kind of rambles on, and he's gonna have some weird name Hello Malonites.
Yeah.
It's just all unpublished videos.
Yeah.
Or all unlisted videos.
Or private.
Yeah, it's actually me with a ridiculously styled, clearly fake mustache and a slight voice modulation that's not flattering.
Right.
That's what it is.
It's like the people who have blogs they never publish.
Definitely didn't have one of those.
Which is also called a journal.
Yeah.
How'd you find my live journal account?
Hack your account.
God, I'm sure I had one of those. I wonder if it's
Abaddon1234 is not a secure password for you.
Oh, I'm positive it's not that.
Hookers and Below 14 is not a...
There you go.
That's closer. Capital H, lowercase b.
And minimum 18.
Minimum 18 letters.
I picked the number 14 on purpose, Tom.
I know. That was me subtly ruining your narrative.
I hate you so much right
So
now.
currently, Jason's ahead by about 70 points. So
Who's in second?
Second is Joel Wilson, and then third is actually Junior Aflahi, and he's only had, but that's only with 3 events.
Ooh.
We don't speak of him.
Yeah. That's because you don't like his suggestions.
I don't like him tagging me and everything.
Oh, there's that too. So
Junior's a great guy. I like Junior a lot.
So the week after Hammer Wrath, we start the new season for the California State Championship, basically. Seems to be very well received. It's a lot of fun. One thing I did want to talk about really quick before we move on to the GW announcements, because there's a lot of them. Recently there's a recent event, basically punish someone after the event was over. And this isn't the first time this happened recently anyway. I mean, I know in soccer you can do that. There's instances where you can card someone outside of the game, but it has to be within the vicinity of the game at least. Mm-hmm. I know in AYSO you can kick out or basically punish parents after a game or in a parking lot.
That's definitely a necessity.
Right. But I mean, it's a little different than a player, but it's almost like the same.
When you do it
concept.
in the parking lot, does it include slashing of tires?
No. I do have a parking lot story. I think I've told you guys the parking lot story.
You have, yeah.
Okay. I'll tell it some other time. Catch me on OVO or ACO.
How about that?
You can ask me about it. You can ask me about it.
Catch me up.
Yes, there's a reason it's a ref team. That's all I'll go there.
Yeah.
But I was curious on your guys' thoughts in regards to, I mean, should you, as a TO/judge, if you're running the event, should you penalize people basically after the fact? Or does it depend on the offense?
I think it depends, and I think if you're going to do it after the fact, it needs to be very, very obvious, and it needs to be very egregious.
You need to have proof.
Yes.
More than anything, you need to have solid, concrete proof, not just like, well, all of his opponents said, right? Like, it needs to be like you've got him on videotape, you've got score sheets that you can tell have been altered, or, you know, what was actually scored versus what was submitted was wrong, right? Like, or something like that, right? Like, you need, you have a judge who says like, no, I was there, I did see this, for whatever reason, I did not actually comment, or I didn't know this was wrong. Right. Or, you have your judge team saying like, oh no, I told him in round 1 and round 2, you can't do it that way. And then we see in round 5, he did do it that way to win. Right. Like, or whatever. Right. But like, you need
obvious
evidence. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cause otherwise, I mean, the thing is that, people love to talk about, it's like, it's going to turn into witch hunts. It's like, how you keep that from happening is if you're going to do retroactive punishments, you have concrete, tangible evidence in which to fall back on. Right. And say like, no, we made this decision because at the time of the event, we did not have all the information necessary to make this decision. Now we do. Right?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I agree with
and, yeah. I think that's...
I would never do it without absolute evidence. It needs to be something egregious, and it's got to be patently obvious.
Yeah.
And it needs to matter. It needs to, like, affect stuff. Otherwise, it's just a witch hunt.
Yeah.
Yeah, or it's hearsay, right? Like, it's, if you've got like, well, 3 of his opponents said this, it's like, that's still hearsay, right? Yeah. Like, that's, and I just think, like, again, the Lanigan is a great example of like, you're on tape. It's irrefutable evidence. You can act as strongly as you want. But hearing like 2 or 3 days later of like, oh, well, his opponent said this, and this opponent said this, and this opponent said this, it's like, oh, that's pretty flimsy, unfortunately, right? Like, that's just not enough to make such a decision. Cause
Well, and then the other problem is, well, okay, how many of those 3 guys talked to each other and then decided,
we're going to do this.
That's what happened in my game too, or
right? There's definitely that aspect of it where it's this kind of becomes like where people hype each other up, and they're like, oh yeah, and he did this, oh yeah, and then someone feels pressured to be like, oh well, I guess. In my memory, he did that too, even if he didn't, right? Like, but in my memory now is suddenly colored to think of like, oh, well, maybe he was rolling behind terrain, right?
Yes, right.
Like, I think people forget that, like, and it doesn't mean you're a dirty liar, but it is human nature that, like, your memory is influenced by your current perception of reality. So if you've got people feeding you a specific line, it will color your memory recall of the event. Like, that's just what it is. So this is, again, it's always funny, like, if you, talk to, like, criminal defense lawyers and things like that of, like, witnesses are actually the least reliable form of evidence, but they're the one people believe the most, unfortunately.
Right.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. I didn't see Danny punch John.
What?
See the fist come from the corner this time.
I didn't even do anything.
No.
Nobody's
like I said, after the
TJ, we're saying that was the correct thing for TJ.
Right, yeah, that's exactly what you should have done. Yeah. I was very much in favor of I was very much in favor of dropping the hammer on him as hard as possible, because I'm like, bitch, we got you on tape. Like, you deserve every inch of what's coming to you.
And then the dude admitted it afterwards too, like.
Right. Which at least he did. It would have been even worse. I would have actually advocated for even worse punishment if he was like, no, that's not what happened, or what you blah, blah, blah. I've been like, no, like, at least own it. Like, you did it. You fucked up. Welcome to the world.
Yeah, I think
I
misunderstand what you're saying.
I'm usually hesitant to go back after the fact, like, because at least in most small, especially RTTs or smaller GTs, there's really no way to do that unless you happen to get them on stream. But outside of that, it's sometimes difficult, because in many cases, especially for smaller GTs like ours, it's just one person.
Mm-hmm.
and you try to be as active or as, you try to be there as much as possible, but you can't be everywhere. And it doesn't matter how many people you have, unless you have one judge for every table, you're not going to be able to catch everything. So it makes things like that kind of hard.
Just reinforces.
Why we're gonna put Alan on stream for every one of our local GTs so we can cancel it.
You just want us to make fun of him every time.
I mean, we either get to make fun of Alan the whole time or we get him canceled. I see this as an absolute win.
Win-win. Win-win either way.
I had no issues detected.
No,
and he's in the mountains, so he's never going to listen to this episode. It's great.
Well, he doesn't listen to us anyway. Yeah. So, but okay. So moving on. So GW had a bunch of announcements and a bunch of sneak peeks. We saw AdMech. They seem to be fairly strong from what we've seen.
I mean, they're already strong, right?
Well, they're strong now. Like I said, Jason McKenzie's been playing AdMech for years now.
I need to know how many boxes of Skitarii I need to buy.
All of them.
That just depends who you ask.
I can't co-host Focus Fire Pocono Pete. I don't win enough games.
Damn.
Also, those guys are too serious for me.
I know, right?
Yeah, I like the tangents. Thank you very much.
I know.
100 Skitaris a list now?
Jeez, okay.
Cool. That's our Skitari.
I've been the shooting aspect is supposed to be pretty insane, so we'll see. I don't know if that's going to cause more tournaments to have more terrain to kind of hopefully limit that, but we'll see. I didn't hear too many complaints about the terrain. I heard one complaint, but one out of the many people that were there,
what was
something to look at, but I'm not.
Little pieces?
I think so. Yeah, it wasn't one. I had other issues with you, Tom, and other people from that we know
from our team.
Yeah.
Was it a question about if drop pods can come in turn one?
No, that wasn't our team, thankfully.
They would have been kicked off the team if that was their question.
That question did come up. Those also. What was the other one? There was a question about stratagems. Being able to use a stratagem multiple times if it says that you can use it after the game starts but before the first battle round.
No, because the game started.
That's more or less what I ruled.
That would be mine.
What stratagem did that come up with?
It came up with the Ultramarines redeploy strat, which Eldar had.
God damn it, Tom.
It wasn't Tom.
Why would you want to spend 6 CP to redeploy your entire army? That sounds like the dumbest thing I've ever.
It was. But I don't think does it cost 3 CP? I don't know how much it costs.
3 CP for how many units?
3 units.
Right. So it'd be.
And if they're infiltrator units, you can't redeploy them in infiltration.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. I feel like you made the right call, Adam. Good job.
Oh, thanks. Thanks to get validated by the guy that is famous for that one mistake at OVO.
No. I'm the most well-known judge in 40K.
I know. Oh no, I say that all the time. You're most well-known, not the most well-versed.
That's fine. Whatever. Judge is ruling his final, so whatever I said is correct.
That is very true.
That line's in the code of conduct because of you, Adam, not me. I didn't put it in there.
Oh, I know. No. I put it in there because I was thinking of you.
I'm just happy to be included.
You were thinking of the fact that you're going to have dementia in about 5 years.
Oh.
About the what?
God damn, guys.
So does this mean does this mean we're going to have 2 TSG Christmases now?
We're going to have 3 TSG Christmases now.
John's house, Adam's house, and the pity when I throw myself. This is the worst day.
We should probably get an AdMech army, I'm not going to lie.
Mom and Dad are fighting.
I like to point out I asked this before and we all said no.
Because no, I like the aesthetic.
Aesthetically, I don't like, yeah.
I know. Well, sacrifices.
I have one box of Skitarii in that cabinet over there.
There you go. Now you need like 10 more.
Yeah.
I like the aesthetic. I just don't want to build or paint the army.
Yeah, I know.
We all know that, Tom. You don't like to paint armies.
That's very true.
So moving on.
You should have just done the peace sign and then
man-child tells Tom to shush because when mom and dad fight, they'll attack you if you don't shush.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's right. We will project.
Yeah. And this is your fault, actually.
Yes. We should have never had you on.
Oh, memories.
That reminds me of this amazing comic where it's like the three little bears and Goldilocks, and they go in and Father Bear's like, someone's been sleeping in my bed, and Mama Bear's, someone's been sleeping in my bed, and Baby Bear's, wait, you guys are sleeping in separate beds? And the fourth panel is Papa Bear explaining to a crying Baby Bear, it's just been really rough for me and your mom, and we're really trying to make it work. We're seeing a counselor, but you know what, little buddy,
it's not your fault. Well, sort of, but
yeah,
well,
it only started when you were born.
Yes.
Oh my God.
I think they listen to this podcast.
I don't know.
Because Adam and I are hilarious.
Yes, we already established that.
Please.
Yeah,
So-
we're just the token white dudes.
Chapter approved is coming out. The big selling point is obviously not the points because we've already had to do an errata for that, and it's not even out yet. Well,
That's not really totally their fault. I mean, with the development time on everything, right? Like, I don't think they anticipated that they would be so behind.
Look,
Well-
the points thing should be it should be
non-paper.
digital. It shouldn't be
Yes,
it shouldn't be
Yeah.
physical. The
There's
points
no
thing should
excuse.
be digital. Period. End of story.
I
don't-
literally
If you're
have
buying
their
chapter
app.
approved for the points adjustments, you're an idiot. You buy chapter approved for the GT mission pack.
Yes.
Because that's what matters. And
Yep.
that other book shouldn't exist.
I don't
It should
disagree.
just be something that's digitally updated to your digital version of the codex that comes when you buy the codex for the app.
Or to your app, or the list building app. Like, what a great way to push their list building app.
Right.
They're like, oh, by the way, like, points are updated electronically, automatically here.
Yes.
Only here.
If you pay us your $3.99 a month.
$9 a month,
Whatever, who cares?
It's $2.99.
I don't care. Whatever I pay it, who cares? Like, it's so small, it's negligible. It doesn't even register.
Yeah, but I mean, I agree. That's why, to me, there's no excuse in regards to the points, because if they'd gone digital, they actually went backwards in digital because they don't even do the iPad or the Apple, the ebooks or whatever that they used to do, that they would update automatically.
Yeah, I have so many codexes on that from the Apple that I'm just like, oh, now I have to, if I want a new one, I have to go through the app. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
John, I can't afford $2.99 because I have to pull myself up by my bootstraps.
No, it's because you have too much
To afford an
avocado
AdMac
toast
army.
and
Yes.
craft coffees.
Cut down on the avocado toast, Tom.
Not only will you be able to afford the $2.99 a month for your app, but magically you'll be able to afford a house all of a sudden.
That would be great.
That would be true.
Look, all we had to do was listen to the boomers this whole time, Tom. Who knew?
No, it's like one thing I saw of like guy being like, it's like, like I'm making about $100,000 a month off passive investments, and there's nothing sweeter. And the one response was like, so how much of a primary investment do you need to get $100K a month on passive? He's like, oh, about 12 million will do it, but 8 if you're smart. And it's just like, oh yeah, cool. Let me just get 8 million real quick here and make that happen.
My
Wow.
passive 100K.
Oh look, it's a shotgun. I wonder what it tastes like.
Anyway,
So-
the new missions are going to be good. They're cool. That's fine. I like it. Points adjustments, who cares?
R.I.P. deploy scramblers.
They talk about land raiders nobody uses, storm speeders nobody uses, immortals people still use, Wraithguard and Wraith Blades.
Gene
Sure.
Stealers.
Sure, whatever.
I don't know.
Like, seriously, I could not care less about the points adjustments.
Yeah, to me the points aren't that really that big of a deal.
Well, I mean, part of it too
it's
is
more the mission. It's more the missions.
missions matter a lot. Secondaries matter a lot. And part of it too is like points I swear people points are important, but at the end of the day, like, I was thinking about this when I was looking at like, oh man, it'd be nice if like these different Tyranid monsters got points drops. I'm like, well, it wouldn't matter unless they were like 70 points a model because they can't navigate terrain. And that's what makes a Demakaran good, is that it navigates terrain. Right. And so it's just like, yeah, like adjusting points doesn't really matter too much, because for most units that aren't play or don't see top table time, it's because they're just not good fundamentally.
Yeah.
They don't provide a synergy or an overwhelming benefit in one phase or several phases that you need to play, right? So like, unless you make them brokenly cheap, which they won't do, because it's very clear of like, wow, like we just, Carnifexes are 30 points a model now. They're Terminators, right? Like, unless they do that, there's just kind of no point.
Yeah, unless there's a drastic points drop, who cares?
Yeah. Like, people are like, oh, the Tyranids are like, Gene Stealer's 13 points a model. And I'm like, they still suck. It's still 260 for 20. Like, they won't kill Primaris. Like,
Yeah.
And if you want to, like, they're durable-ish for our infantry, but like, if you want to rocket something into your opponent on turn 1 and take away their objective with OBSEC bodies, then Hormagaunts are better. Way cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like, I'd rather have 30 of them and plus another like 20 in reserve for the same points.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. They also talked about Sisters of Battle more, which, okay.
That's cool.
I don't know how much help they do need, since they at least won our GT and they seem to do well.
They're strong. I think that the problem with Sisters is the better players aren't playing them, with the exception of like Brandon Grant.
Right.
I mean, they're a toolkit list, and if you can't play a toolkit, they're not going to be the army for you. Like, nobody on this podcast picked up Sisters of Battle.
We
kind of.
We never
Yeah, I got rid of it.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure we all bought one of those boxes.
Yeah.
Right, but none of you, because I didn't play with those boxes, actually like took the army up legitimately.
No.
I never. No, I mean, I
was close.
I mean, if I could just have an Imperial army, I would love Sisters, because I do like toolkit style armies. They're just, it's like Tyranids, but they're just way better. It's just, it's one of those things of, I think, because, I mean, and this is just reality, I think, a lot of top tier players really aim for what is just, margins of error better than other things for that advantage, right? That they don't want the toolbox style armies, unless you're like Naden, who excels. Like, I think Naden with Sisters of Battle would fucking destroy people. Because I think he can make the use out of their, their varied, right.
Yeah, I know, right?
But, Grant's a good one, because Grant's so methodical. Grant is so clean in his play that he can make use of it. But I'm thinking of other kind of top tier players who just really, more than anything, maximize the inherent power level of certain combos or certain ideas in the meta, right? Like, that's what makes them, besides obviously being very good at the game, but that's like their real edge, is they're good at doing that, as opposed to like just being able to think on their fucking feet and be like, well, I have these, units that can do multiple things if I know how to leverage them correctly, right? At any given moment.
Yeah. So we'll see when they come out how they function, or how much different they function than how they currently do. I don't think there's going to be big changes. I think they're just adding units.
Yeah, which is cool. That's fine.
I mean,
It's a brand new army that really didn't have much before, so.
They have a High Lord of Terror now.
They're like they're almost like the Death Guard, where like they didn't have anything and then all of a sudden have everything.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
So
it takes time to build a faction from scratch, essentially. When you're redoing all of it.
Last thing, real quick, they also announced the Thousand Suns and Grey Knight codexes, which with the Horror Community article were supposed to be out by now. So I'm nervous in regards to how those armies are going to be.
Yeah.
Because they rely on psychic. I almost think they're going to be like how Tau was, or Tau is, in regards to like the shooting phase / the double shooting phase they get, how they take so long. If you're going to play those armies on a competitive level at a tournament, you better practice with that chess clock.
You better write down all of your spells.
Yes.
Because I don't see that army. I actually don't see the armies doing well in tournaments, to be honest, only because I'm not sure if top players would be willing to, take that extra step to like learn all the powers. I mean, some of them might. I can't remember. I mean, in 7th edition, it was a thing you had to do, but that was for everybody because everybody had more or less access to the same powers, which was demon summoning. But in
you're summoning demons, hell yeah.
But in this edition,
I had a Librarius Conclave that would every now and then summon some demons. I had a gallon baggie full of. I had 10 of each set of lesser demons, right? Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, every now and then, there's a game where my Librarius Conclave might need to summon some demons.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna keep this gallon baggie of painted demons with me for.
I remember that.
For reasons. This is the secret tool that might come in handy later.
Yeah.
So I think if someone is going to actually be good with an army, with either army, you just have to learn how to manage the psychic phase. And if you do that efficiently and in a fair amount of time with the chess clock, you may be able to do well.
I don't know. I mean, Grey Knights will need a big stat line increase, right?
Well, they don't have a Magnus or anything like that. That's
they
Magnus
don't have
probably
the plus
helps.
1 wound yet for their dudes. I mean, if they get
don't.
some kind of a cool new model that's like, something like a Magnus, something like a Morty, something tanky.
Morty.
If they increase the Grandmaster Dread Knight to be something cool, like really cool, maybe. I don't know.
Right.
Make paladins 5 wounds each.
Good lord, dude! Like
Christmas Day.
Don't even joke about that. If anybody from GW is listening, he's not serious. Don't do that.
Do it. I have paladins. Do it.
But I'm actually curious to.
I want to see what they do with Magnus. As someone who plays Bash Bros, right? Like,
yeah, with your janky Magnus guy.
Hey.
I bet he's half as good as Morty and double the price.
Sounds about par for the course.
Yeah, because Thousand Sons. Look,
you just hope that
gotta pay for a lot of dust with that army, okay?
Dust ain't cheap.
Dust ain't cheap.
So I'm actually looking forward to Thousand Sons more than Grey. I've never really liked the Grey Knights as an army for some reason.
I do. I like Grey Knights way back in the day when it was Grey Knights, Inquisition, and Sisters together.
Oh, with the Witch Hunter.
Yeah. I liked them then. I still kind of like them. I like the idea of like the shining like paragons of battle, like the best of the best of the best of the best. Yeah. I think that's pretty cool.
The 5 games I got to play with them before the pandemic started, I really liked them.
I like Grey Knights too, and I hope for Tom's sake that they're good because Tom's nice.
Yeah,
you still have
I'll pilot them. I'll pilot them.
Oh no, yeah, please if you want to. No, I still have them. I mean, I may need to get more depending on if I want to run them and the list and points changes, but I mean, I basically have the old double paladin bomb list.
If I get the Thousand Sons, Danny, we can play it. It'd be like an all-day game with us just casting and deny. We wouldn't even do movement or shooting. We just go to psychic phase.
Well, we might have to get a range of each other first. Hold on, I got to move. I have to get within 24 or 18. Hold on.
Yeah.
And the people at home would know it was a long one. It's like, whoa, this battle report's 22 minutes instead of 12.
We'll film every roll, so it'll be 4 hours long.
Oh, good lord.
No. We'll just only film the psychic phase, so it'll only be 2 hours long.
We'll do one die at a time.
Yeah. All right, here's the first one. Here's the second one. Let me count it. That's 6.
Once we roll it?
Yeah.
I can't even bear to listen to this, let alone watch that.
Oh, wait, I think I miscounted. Let me start again.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pips on that dice, and
I'm just gonna end this stream now.
I'm trying to remember. I saw one frickin' one battle report where the guy, and it's like, basically just a live stream, a recorded live stream of people playing, and one guy rolls his psychic, and it's boxcars, and he's like, okay, let me tally that up, and it's like, dude, it's dice car, it's boxcars, like. How do you not instantly recognize that's just a 12?
Okay, I'm gonna count my pips. That's fucking 12.
Yeah. And then to make it worse, he's like, okay, so I think it goes off, and it's like, my guy.
Oh my god. All right.
This is gonna be.
Wait, let me check the
for me,
casting
dog.
value real quick. Yeah, let me just check the casting value. Hold on.
Yeah, hold on. At which point I will use intimidating shout. Hold on.
Real quick questions from the Patreons. Dan is asking, is GW going after third-party printer modelers?
Did they ever stop?
Not necessarily yet, but maybe.
It's gonna be a hard thing to do, I'm sure, but whatever.
They've done it with Shapeways. I don't know if I don't think they've done it with like individual, like, cause there's a bunch of people that have Patreons that basically deal with, 3D printed models. I don't think they've gone to those, but I know they have done it, to Shapeways before.
Okay.
Right.
And once in a while, Shapewaves will go through, and even things like Thingiverse and Cults 3D, they'll go through stuff and all stuff will start getting deleted. Now, I don't know if they do it on their own, just so they don't get the C&D from GW, or if they wait till GW sends them something. Then he also asked, Deathwing may not be overpowering in the meta, but an apothecary and transhuman with 1+ saves is malarkey.
Which is why I'll be playing Deathwing soon.
Yes, as you should.
Yeah.
It's actually the army Edwin wanted, and I bought it for him. So we'll paint
Thanks,
it, build it, and I'll play it.
Yeah.
It's the meme. Our army.
Yeah, it's the army we wanted.
Yeah.
We wanted it. Okay.
And then I believed. Then he also asked that Focus Fire brought up using BCP to track yellow and red cards. Any thoughts?
Whatever.
BCP can barely track BCP.
Right.
Seriously.
I could crash the system.
Yeah. Assuming that functionality could exist stably, I don't know about yellow cards because, it's just yellows happen, but like,
Reds.
I think we do need a way to track reds, right? Like, and this is why the NCAA of 40K has been created essentially. If all these divisions are started up, it's so TOs can kind of essentially do that, right? Like, and keep track of keep track of the shitheads. And so like, it'd be great I would support that on a, national, international scale. It's just, people are going to get weird about it. But I think it's necessary for red cards because if someone pulls a red, there's got to be a good reason.
Right.
Like, and it's important to kind of identify what was that because I would like to know if I'm playing someone who has gotten several reds before because I'm definitely going to, be a little more cautious of that game than I would otherwise.
Yeah, it's just the implementing of it.
I mean, hear me out. Branding, like you get a full-on arm brand. Go medieval.
Oh my god.
Good lord, child.
Oh come on, John! I thought you backed me up more than anybody.
In the chat,
No, we're juxtaposed this evening.
I'm moving on.
Damn it!
In the chat, KR Quinn is asking if any of us going or at the team event in Vegas.
No, I can't go.
None of us. I think our club has two teams. I think,
Yeah.
but none of us are on the
team
team.
still needs one person.
If you listen to the early part of the episode, you heard our performance. Some of our two members of this podcast, their performance at the GT. So I guess that would beg the question: would you want them on your team?
I don't know. Knights are. I mean, a team tournament, you want skew into some extent, right? Like you want to be able to maximize bad matchups, and Knights are fucking nightmare matchups for some armies.
Yeah,
so
I'd probably take Chaos Knights if I was going to play in the team tournament with the team.
Yeah.
Because I would take probably I would even either take a Megara and more X's, or I take Morty and more X's.
Yeah.
And a CSM patrol because obsession
again.
thing.
What I would like to do is we talked about this. If you don't play, at the June 12th RTT, if you end up playing Death Knight or Deathwing, I want to borrow take the more axes because I'll do Bash Brothers with more axes all day.
Yeah, absolutely.
If I could go to the Vegas one, either as a judge or as a player, I guess, since we have that spot still open.
Yeah.
I actually have to see what if Reese needs us or not.
Yeah, if I go, it'd probably be more to I mean, unless one of the teams really needed like a Tyranid player or something, like a Xenos player, I would probably go to Judge.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, that one might be more doable because it's only a Friday, Saturday, or it's only a Saturday.
It's only
Sunday event,
Sunday. Yeah.
Which is a little easier to sell. And depending on how my kids are behaving, I can maybe even just, turn it into a mini vacation with my,
Yeah.
It's not like it's LDO where it's a different kind of animal, but my wife, I don't know.
Yeah, so we'll see. You might see us there. For those that don't know, I do too. For those that don't know, I will be attending the Atlantic City Open as a judge, not a judge, more as I'm helping out basically. So
you're an advisor.
I'm an advisor.
Senior advisor.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Business.
Senior.
I'm just on the advisor.
So,
as opposed
John,
to
don't you mean
senior in my previous
senior?
example where you're getting dementia.
oh yeah,
Two different forms of senior there.
could be both though.
I mean,
that's why I thought you.
both. I'm
Well,
just
why don't
saying
you
I
say?
wasn't using it as both in this instance.
Oh, well,
Let's just cover all bases and say he's a senior advisor.
Senior.
doubling up, double the pay.
Yep.
You guys getting paid for this?
All right.
Yeah. Zero, double up 0 is 0. So if you see me come on by, I'll probably be at like either the judge's table or the
bar.
registration booth. I'm told I'm not supposed to drink, but
He'll be at the
local watering hole.
The white powder.
I feel like if any of the TFG members would be able to restrain themselves from getting a little plastered, it would most likely be you, followed by John, followed by Danny, followed by me.
I'm definitely low on that list.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, it goes like it's a graph, so it's like here's Adam, here's John, and then me and Danny are just like way down here, but like still relatively positioned.
I routinely control myself when it comes to that.
Mm-hmm.
Except on the beer crawl.
Oh yeah, well I'm on the beer
that's
crawl.
at that time.
But see, that you're literally choosing to do that again.
That's literally the point of that.
Yeah, for me, it's like, well, guess this is happening. Tom, you haven't even. Nope, it's too late now. I walked in the room.
Too late. I woke up.
Yeah, I woke up. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, oh no, I woke up. Well, today's ruined.
So come by, say hi. I can tell you some of the stories I don't normally tell on air.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to hear dirt about John.
A lot of it. Squeaky clean. I'm the white guy on the podcast. I'm like that congressman from Florida who's squeaky clean, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah, the guy who looks like a real life Beavis and Butthead character.
Yes. He totally does.
Yeah, and I can't get that image out of my head.
Thank you so much for that, Danny.
And look, my hobby progress was good today.
I did not realize I needed that.
Oh yeah, look.
Nice.
That was good, man.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Mostly using contrast besides like the metal, that's not bad for a couple hours of work.
That's pretty good.
Like,
I like it.
yeah,
That really good.
last time I painted.
You blended that really well.
That's just all contrast. Contrast and then, with different amounts of water depending on where it is.
Cool. I like it.
It still takes skill to use contrast. Not as much, but it still takes it.
No, where's my Null oil? I have to put over it now.
I know.
The whole thing.
No.
I had I remember the first time I was playing like Total Warhammer 2 after getting into the hobby, and I was playing as Empire, and it was the city of Null, and I had the Leonardo DiCaprio moment where I was like, "That's where it comes from. It's because it's the foundry, and they make the weapons there. Oh, it's so cool."
Why'd you play as Empire?
He didn't know better.
Because it was the first time playing, and I was the tutorial.
I believe we are done for the night.
We just started talking about Total War Warhammer 2.
Yeah, and also because I had played dwarves
Big
like
monsters.
2 games in a row.
Big monster.
I mean, that's why I play Age of Sigmar. It's like the ultimate game of big monsters.
Right.
Oh yeah. I guess we're starting a Age of Sigmar podcast since all of us, or most of us.
No.
John's not going to play. Tom's not going to play. It's just going to be you and me, Adam.
I'm not playing out of lack of
I'll
ability.
discuss it with you guys, but we're not doing a
desire.
separate podcast for that. That's some bullshit.
All right.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
What? TFG Scrolls, a AOS podcast. TFG Messenger Pigeon.
When Total War Warhammer 3 comes out, I'm going to miss all the podcast episodes. Tom's going to have to run them all because I'm going to be playing that game nonstop.
No, because I'm also going to be playing that game.
So Tom and I will be playing while the stream is going. I can just stream my game. And Adam and Danny can talk about stuff, and I'll be like, what?
Actually, that'd be a perfect time to do your AOS segment.
Just
stream.
We play
just put the stream on your screen.
Yeah.
And then we can talk over that.
Oh, man. I can't wait to have a bloodthirster in my army. I'm not lying.
And then, basically it'll just be like this. Like, you'll just see me over here, and they'll be like, so, Tom, what do you think? Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Also, the giant ice bear is pretty cool, too.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited to play Kislev.
I want a bloodthirster.
Same.
You know.
Yes.
That's all I want. The same way I have a Warhammer Total War 2, just for, like, I want my dinosaurs. I want my lizards. 3 is like, I want my bloodthirster. Yeah. That's all I want.
I loved getting the dragons, the dragon mounts for my elves, my high elves.
Dude, high elves and 2 were so good.
And then all the dragons, like, there's a couple of armies I have where, like, all archers, and then my last 3 choices are one of each dragon. Because why not?
Yeah. Oh, so you were stupid enough to come close to my shield wall that can shoot at you? Okay, die.
Yeah. The dragons literally just hover above the archers, and when anything gets close enough, boom.
Yeah, and charge.
Yeah.
I think we'll call it there.
All right.
First off, thanks to Gameology Games for being a sponsor. Gameology Games Pasadena especially for hosting the events. Check out GameologyGames.com. There's the rankings for the California State Championship is there also. And you can get some good product there at a discount. And then also for HammerheadGames.net, the Shark Tank. Tony always has a shit ton of stuff.
Yes.
All the time, somehow.
And if you live up there, Tony's expanding the store to have a larger play area.
Again. I think for the third time.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just showing off at this point.
He's basically just trolling all of us at this point who don't live in Sacramento. Thanks, Tony.
Bask in my success.
Anyway, he's got good stuff.
Tom, any parting words?
So long and thanks for all the fish.
Danny?
Play games, be nice to each other.
John? Choosing to be silent.
John's like, I have no advice for anybody.
No, I don't.
Well, not gaming advice anyway.
Turn your listening on time on PCP.
John's been winning more games.
I'll believe it when I see it.
That had the tone of a protective mother, Danny.
I won 2 games in the league, and I didn't get dropped down a pod because I won 2 games.
No, he's good. He's doing good.
I like how Tom just dropped immediately after doing that.
Seriously, right? That's perfect timing.
The internet was like, nope, not for his bullshit today. We're done.
That's enough of that for today, meme. Inserted done. I came back, damn it.
Yeah, screw you, John. Screw you and your bullshit.
Well, thank you everybody for listening. We'll see you in a couple weeks. We might have the show on a different day, which we still have to discuss.
What?
But I'll tell you afterwards.
Possibly.
Thank you everybody for listening. Good night and have a pleasant tomorrow.